Hey, it's Mike Sweeps Coin Curator. It's February 13th, 2025. Using a new mic stand here, so hopefully the sound is okay. Let me know in the comments if I need to change anything. Today I'm going to go over 3 spreadsheets that I use to manage my sweeps coins and keep track of everything, keep everything organized. Somebody had requested in the comments that they wanted to get a copy if I could share them, so sorry about that. Okay, there we go. Time to wake up. Okay, but anyway, somebody had requested that I share a copy. So I'm going to share a copy of all 3 spreadsheets that I either have used in the past or I use now, and you can copy them and use them however you want, share them, doesn't matter. These are original spreadsheets that I made myself, so feel free to give them out. And if you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. I'll try to explain them as best I can without making it too long of a video. Make sure you check out my channel over here at youtube.com/@sccurator and my site beacons.ai/freesweepscoins will list all the different sweepstakes casinos A through Z. You can use these links here to sign up and take advantage of any of the offers, etc. All right, so the first spreadsheet deals with sending in envelopes, AMOE requests, and I did a 4-part series on how to do that, so you can check that out on the YouTube channel right here. Basically, the quick rundown is you send in envelopes, they give you credit, and then you play the credits and cash out. And I did a video on it as well when I got a pulse drop the other day, maybe a week ago, 6 days ago. So you can check that video out too. But I use a spreadsheet to manage the envelopes that I send in just to keep track. Because when you send them in, there's a lag and a delay from when you send them to when you get them. And these spreadsheets are all useful just for various reasons. 1, you want to be organized. 2, you want to know how much profit or loss you have. 3, taxes. Obviously, it's important to know, your money coming in and out, and your profit and loss for tax time, etc. So I just find them to be useful tools. But this one here is a copy of Sweeps 2025 is what I named it. I'm going to go over each cell and go over kind of what it does. So I guess the broad overview is there's a totals tab here at the bottom. It's going to give you your total envelopes sent. And this is just Chumba E2. So what that refers to is down here there's a tab, Chumba. E2 is how many total envelopes you sent. So that's going to populate automatically, as we'll see. Total received is pretty similar. Chumba. Total received, so it's going to be total credited here. Total cash out, it's just going to be your total amount that you've cashed out, which is going to pull from here. Net gain and loss, so that's going to take your cash out minus the credited amount. And then you'll have your pending envelopes here, which will be... Okay, so the pending envelopes is your sent minus your received envelopes. And then the pending money. Now, this assumes that every envelope you send in is worth 5 sweeps coins, which most sites are, or most sites that I write to are. But, yeah, this is going to assume a $5 per envelope. So it's going to take your pending envelopes times 5, and that's how much money you have that's pending to you. And then your returned envelopes. If you ever get envelopes returned in the mail, you can track them as well just by entering them in here. So let's just assume I send out 100 envelopes today for Chumba. So we'll type in. So what you'll do is you'll go in here. You'll go to Chumba. You'll type 2/13, which is today's date. Let's say you send 100 envelopes. See, and now it's automatically going to update that. Let's just say tomorrow we send 100 envelopes. You enter that in. It's going to update automatically. And the cool part about this is it's also going to update here on the totals. The totals are going to automatically update, so it's useful if you write to more than one site. If you're just writing to one site, you don't need this totals tab. You can just, type in whatever site you're using and then go from there. And if you need to change the name, you can just right-click on the tab down here and then hit rename. And you can name it whatever you want. You can name it Pulse. You can name it Lucky Land, Global, whatever site you write to. But then what you'll have to do is go in here and change it. Instead of saying Chumba, you'll have to make it the exact word here. And then the exclamation point is referring to the sheet or the tab down here, and then the cell E2. And I'll show you how to fix that or change that in a second. Okay, but let's just say we did that. Okay, we sent in 200, and then let's just assume that in a month we get credit. So 313, let's say we get credit for 60 envelopes. Okay, so we type it in when we get our credit, and then look, it'll automatically update. Okay, 60 credited. Let's just say that day we play through and we cash out $200. Okay, so we cashed out $200. So it's all going to update automatically once you enter that in. Now the partial you're going to have to figure out yourself. So you have 60 credited, you send 100. So you do 100, you minus 60, so you have 40 left. And then what I do is I go in here, I go up top to the fill color, and I use orange for partial. So now the next time, let's say I get a drop the next day, let's just say for 50 envelopes. Okay, so now I have 50 in this credit. I had 40 partial, so we subtract the 40. So that 40 is done, and this one is done. So I would put it in green, and then you have 10 left over because you had 50 minus the 40. So you go here, and then you have 90 left because you got 100 from this drop minus 10, right? So hopefully that makes sense. And you can rewatch it and slow it down if you need to. But now you don't have to use those colors or that system or whatever, but that's how I was doing it, and it worked really well for me. So yeah, and then none were returned in the mail. This is just if it gets like returned to sender, you know, you get one that's returned, etc. So that's how you track them for just one site, and you can just go down right down the line. And why it's useful is like if you, let's say you have a bunch of different dates, like it's useful to know what date you're on, right? Like let's say we got credit for all these are in green. You highlight them in green once you get them, once they're complete. So now you know your next drop is this date here. You just use the color system. Use these colors and say, okay, these green ones are complete. Now I'm on this date here. So that's kind of how you can track your dates. That's how I was doing it, and it worked out pretty well. Okay, so that's if you have one site. Now let's add another site. So if you want to add another site, you come down here to the plus sign. It's going to bring up a new sheet. You right click, rename it to whatever site. Let's say Pulse. Okay, or actually no, I lied. Delete that. If you want to do a new site, the best way to do it is you right click on Chumba, you hit duplicate. That way you'll have the same color scheme and the same formulas will populate for you. So now it's going to say copy of Chumba. Then you're going to rename it. Let's say Pulse. Then you're going to clear out everything except for these totals. Everything except for the totals, then you clear out. Okay, and that way you have a brand new sheet with its Pulse. And then let's just say we send in some Pulse envelopes today. Now, this total is not going to update that because we have to fix these formulas now. So you have Chumba E2. Again, remember, Chumba and E2 is a total sent. So now we're just going to do Pulse E2. So you can go up here, highlight it, copy it. It's Control C. Okay. Control C and then Control V. And then you're going to want to make it look like this. And then instead of Chumba, you're just going to want to click back, delete, 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 and then type in Pulse E2. And then bang, there it is. So now look, you have 300 envelopes there because it's 200 from Chumba, 100 from Pulse. And then you're just going to have to go through each one of these and do the same thing. So you highlight it, copy it, plus, and then you're just going to add, plus, change it to Pulse. And you're only going to have to do this one time for each site that you use. So once you get it set up, it's all good to go. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes, but then you're all set up. And then if you're only writing to the same sites over and over again, you won't have to do it more than once. And at the end of the year, you can just copy the whole spreadsheet for the next year. And to do that, you just go up here, you hit File, make a copy. And then instead of 2025, you would just type in Sweeps 2026 for next year. And then you would just basically start over and fill it in from there. So that's what I was doing for years, and it worked out pretty well. But yeah, again, you just go through here and you just fill these in manually. It's not very hard to do. And then it's going to update you across the board. And then this will stay the same because it's just taking B2 times 5, which is your total envelopes, times $5 a piece. If your envelopes are different amounts of money, then you would have to do some changes with the formulas. You would have to do each one individually. You'd have to go in here and say, yeah, that would take some work to change. I can show you how to do it though. Let's see. But yeah, this will set you up if they're all $5. Let's say there's one that's $6. Okay, let me try this. Okay, so let's just say Pulse is $6, okay? So what you would have to do is go into here and let's see, Chumba is going to be, okay, so the total credited would then, you'd have to have a separate formula for it. So it would have to be, let's see, credited would be F2. So you'd have to do Chumba F2 times 5 and then put it in parentheses. And then you would have to do plus Pulse F2 times 6. Okay, and then once you get the credit, let's say we get 100 from Pulse. Oh, whoops, that's the date. Okay, so as you can see here, the credit's going to be Chumba times 5, Pulse times 6. So you have 300 envelopes, $900. So you have 300 from here, 60 times 5, 100 times 6. So that's how you would have to do that. And that's probably actually the better way to do it than the way I was doing it. So yeah, I'm just going to set it up that way. And then to add another site, again, you would just want to make it look like this. Type in your site times 5. That's the better way to do it, actually. So we'll just keep it that way. Okay, and then your net gain and loss. So again, let's assume that we cashed out $200. And then let's assume on this one we cashed out $1,000. Now this is going to show your net gain or loss. So it's going to take your total cash out. It's going to add that up for each site. So 200 plus 1,000, so 1,200 cash out minus the credits, right? So it's taking cash out minus credits. So you have a $400 gain right there. Then your pending envelopes, 140. And actually, we'll have to update the pending envelope money to reflect how much each one is worth. So let me fix that for you on the fly. Okay, and that was G2. I think it was G2. Let's make sure. Whoa, that's not right. Pending envelopes. Oh, I see. Okay. Let's see. Pending envelopes. Let's see. Okay, let me just see. Yeah, because the original spreadsheet I was using just assumed every envelope was $5, which isn't always correct. So let's see. We're going to do total sent minus credited. Okay, so it's going to be E minus D. E2 minus D2. Okay. Which is 140. Okay, let's see. Whoops. Sorry, I'm just making some changes here on the fly, which is a little bit crazy. So let's just see. Yeah, so, let's see. Okay. E2 minus D2. Okay, there we go. Always a good time. Okay, times 5. Okay, so that's how much money you have from Chumba, which is, yeah, that makes sense. So you have 200 cent, 140 pending, because you got 60, times 5, so 700 bucks there. And then you're gonna want to do this, put it in parentheses here, and then you're gonna want to copy it. And then change it to Pulse. And again, this is assuming that Pulse pays 5 as well, which it does. Whoops. Okay, so that's correct now. Okay. So again, you're going to want to just make sure that these formulas, when you add or take out and when you take out a spreadsheet, like let's say you delete one, which I wouldn't recommend. If you delete one, you're going to have to go up in here and delete all the Pulse references. So I guess it gets a bit convoluted and complicated, but you know, if you know a little bit about spreadsheets, it's not too difficult. And if you have any questions or comments, I can help you figure it out. But this should give you a good reference point as far as what to do. But it's nice if you're using multiple sites. It's nice if you use multiple sites. Once you get it set up, it really works well. Minimal effort. And then you can just copy it each year. So you really only have to set it up like one time, and then you're good for years to come. So that's the one I use to keep track of my sweeps entries. Next, let's do daily logins. Okay, so this one here, it lists all the sites in no particular order. If you want to sort them by A to Z, you go up here, left click, and then sort A to Z. It'll sort them A to Z. So what you're going to want to do is you type in, you're going to have to manually type in or enter the sites that you use. Okay, so this one doesn't include Chumba because I'm banned from Chumba, but let's say you wanted to add Chumba. So you would type in Chumba, www.chumba.com. I think that's their site, right? Or is it Chumba Casino? Yeah, it's chumbacasino.com. Okay, so Chumba. And you can actually just do this. You just go to the site. All right, that's not right. Okay. I'm trying to get it without this stuff at the end of it, which is really annoying. Okay, so chumbacasino.com. Okay, you go there. You can just come up here, copy it, Control-C, and then paste it, Control-V. Okay, and that'll add your new site. Okay, so now we have a list of sites. Again, you can sort A through Z if you want. And then you have your casino, you have your link. And then this bonus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's just for the week. So I do it per week. And then at the end, it's going to add up your totals up here for the week. And going up and down is going to add up for each site. So I'll show you how that works. And then this is the day of the week that starts, 2/13. Again, you can duplicate it. You can right-click, duplicate, and let's just say next week starts on 2/20, so we rename it to 2/20, and then you have a fresh sheet for next week, okay? How this works is, let's say I log in. Let's just say every site pays $1. So as you go through the sites and log in, you track it yourself manually. You just type in $1, $1, $1, okay, for every site. And as you can see in the top there, it's adding up as we go. It automatically does it for you, so yeah. Okay, so every site's paying $1. Okay, so that means there's 55 sites we logged into. So for the week, we have 55 bucks. This is showing you how much per site. Okay, now let's say tomorrow, every site pays $1 except for Chumba pays, let's say, $5. Okay, so you can see here, This adds up going across. So like 1 plus 1 is 2, 1 plus 1 is 2, 1 plus 1 is 2. Chumba has 1 plus 5 is 6. And then this right here is just the grand total for every casino for the whole week. So by the time this is all filled in, you're going to have a good sense of how much you make. You're going to have a good sense of how much you make, you know, per day, per week, etc. Here, let me pull up some of mine from, I'll give you my actual numbers from back in January, just as an example. I'll copy and paste it in so you can kind of see how it works. Okay, so I copied and pasted in. Let's just say you filled these in manually yourself every day. You can see that week I made $190.49. Now, these aren't corresponding to that specific casino. It's just, right, because you can see there it goes over. But imagine these were all filled in correctly with all different casinos here and all that. So that's how it's going to look at the end of your week. You're going to have like some that are worth 2, some that are worth this and that. And then to sort by, this is where it also gets useful. To sort by your highest earning casinos, you go up to here to the weekly tab. You left click this little arrow, hit sort A or Z to A. And then that's going to give you your best performing casinos. Again, these aren't corresponding. These are just made up example numbers. But in this hypothetical example, Gold Rush City would have made you the most money, $20. And this is useful because you can come in here and you can say, okay, you know, these casinos at the bottom only made me like $2 this week logging in, so I might not want to log into these ones anymore. So you can put an X here if you want. You can just delete them if you want. You can just come in, highlight them, and delete them. You go up here, edit, delete, rows, and then they're all gone. And you can also undo it. But yeah, these ones, if you're short on time or if you just don't want to mess around with ones, like let's say you only want to log into casinos that pay $1 per day. Well, you would obviously go here and say, okay, these ones all pay $7 per week or $1 per day. So you're only going to log into these because you only have so much time, or you just don't want to waste your time with lower paying ones. So you can just come in here, delete all these other ones, and then there you go. So now you have a list of all the casinos that just pay $1 or more each. So yeah, that can be useful, of course, and you can use it in any way you want. You don't have to do it weekly. You can do it monthly, yearly, but I find weekly's good just because it fits on the screen here easily, and it's, you know, it just works out for me. So, but yeah, you can make about $200 a week logging in. Sorry, I'm just gonna clear it out. Okay, but that's kind of where you go from there. And that's how you use that sheet. And again, you at the end of the week, you might want to sort Z to A and just see, okay, these are the top performing ones. I do that pretty often, just because the login offers can change, etc. So that's what I do for that one. And then one last spreadsheet I've been using lately is this one. This is a monthly sheet I've been using to track like my deposits, my withdrawals, and basically my net, which is useful for tax season, especially that we're in tax season now. So let's just say that I start with $100 on every site. So I'm going to just type in 100 for every site, just as an example. You would fill this in yourself. You know, your starting balance on February 1st. You go in, type in whichever casino you have, start balance. Okay, so up here, it's going to tell you have $10,500. That's $100 per casino. Obviously, these numbers are going to be different. Like you might only have $10 here, you might have $5 here, but we're assuming 100 just to make it easier. Okay, now at the end of the month, you're going to type in your end balance. So let's say your end balance on each casino is $200. And again, these are hypothetical numbers. You would type them in manually yourself at the end of the month. So this shows you a monthly gain of $100, and the formula is up here. So basically, it's taking your end balance minus, and then it's adding up all these other cells. So it's adding up your start balance, your deposits, your envelope drops, and then it's also adding in your withdrawals. And then you can just fill this in. So let's say on Acorn Fund you had a $100 deposit. No, let's say you had a $50 deposit. So now you can see your monthly gain dropped by $50 because you had a $50 deposit. But let's say you had a $200 withdrawal. It's going to automatically update. So now you have a $250 gain. And then let's say you had envelope drops of $100. So your monthly total gain was 150 bucks once all this is added in. So it's kind of just set it and forget it. Once I give you the spreadsheet, it does it for you. And then this is just going to total up all the columns. So like this is your total starting balance going in this, B through all the way down. Total ending is C going all the way down, adding it up. Total deposits, it's just adding up your deposits. Total withdrawals. So this is really useful. Again, at the end of the month, you can kind of see, okay, I deposited 50, I withdrew 200, and I netted 10,500 or whatever it is you netted. Obviously, it's going to be less than that most of the time, but yes, it's kind of self-explanatory. You just type in your starting balance each month, your ending balance each month. That's really all you have to fill in, and then your deposits and withdrawals you also would fill in. And if you have any envelope drops, you can add them in here as well in dollar amounts. So yeah, and then the same concept goes with this one. You right-click, duplicate, and then you have a copy of it. So let's say March. This will be for next month. But let's say there's numbers filled out here. How would you? Whoops. Like let's say it's filled in. How would you? Now let's say at the end of the month, okay, you copy March. And then you have all these numbers. All you have to do is go up in here, highlight these cells, and just delete them. And then you have a fresh sheet. And you can even do this like ahead of time. Like you can go in here and just keep duplicating it. And then this way you can rename them. So you can say like April. This is probably the best way to do it. Like April, May. Oops. And then you can go through and just do each month if you want to. And then if you want to delete them, you can delete them. Right-click, delete. So yeah, and then you're all set up for each month. And then once you have it set up, again, you can just fill it in as you go. Once you have the blank template, and then you can do the same thing. Copy for 2026 once you're at the end of the year. And then at the very end of the year, you can go in and just add up all the months manually. I guess you could write a formula for that too, but you can go in, and I guess I can try that now. Let's see. End of year. I can do that right now, actually. Let's see. End of year. And so, yeah, this would be like your yearly total, and then you could just add, you would just type in each month, February, March, April, May, whatever month you're in. And it would be kind of the same concept. You would type in, well, I don't know, actually. It might just be best to add these up manually until I figure out a formula, I guess, for that. I haven't really thought about it too much, but you can kind of easily just track each month, and then you can manually add it in until I figure out a formula for it, I guess. But that might take a minute to figure out. But yeah, you can make your own tab for that. But at least you have a record of it. You know, that's kind of the thing is like, say you're doing your taxes or you want to know, okay, how did I do for the whole year? It's pretty easy to just go in and add up the 4 or the 12 tabs and say, okay, my net for the whole year was these 12 numbers added up. It's not that difficult to figure out. Let me just see if I can do it real quick. Now it's bothering me, so hold on. So I guess this would just be, whoops. Yeah, see, let's see. Whoops. Okay. So yeah, this would be how you do it. End of the year, and then you would just type in all the months. Again, you would just copy the month, and you would just go through and type in each month that you have listed there. And then it's going to automatically update. So you can do it that way if you want. But you're going to have to customize that a bit yourself. But that's just an example. Might as well just do all the months so you have it. Whoops. And to shift, like these are out of order. If you want to shift, you just left click, drag it over. So January, February, March, April, May, June. We'll just set it up for you the whole year. July, August. And then again, this way, once you're set up, you don't have to mess with it anymore. Oh, that's not good. Wait, that's not spelled right. October, November, December. And then this way you'll have everything. And it's going to be set up for you. Okay, so we'll do this. So it's April. Okay, let's see. April. Whoops. Plus May. Plus June. It's really basic stuff here, honestly. It's not too difficult. It's kind of just, you know, doing a little research, and that's it. July, August, September, October. Okay, so we need January. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. All right, so that'll total up the whole year, total net gains and profits or whatever. This will do your, let's see, F and F. Okay, so let's see. Let's just rename this. Yearly totals. So we're doing it on the fly. Okay, and then this would just be all of these again, but it's going to be E instead of F. So it's, or E instead of L. So we change this to E instead of L for each one. This is kind of how it's made. This is how you do it. You just do it on the fly, right? Okay, so that's your total deposits. Total withdrawals will be the same. Just be F instead of L. Probably a quicker way to do this, but whatever. I'm doing it this way. Deal with it. Deal with it. Let's see. F, 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 F. And then we'll test it out at the end. Okay, and actually, we'll move this over here. Okay, total deposits, total withdrawals. Hopefully this works, or else I'll feel stupid. Okay, so let's just say we have a deposit of $100. Let's see if it worked. Nope, didn't work. Why not? Oh, I see. Okay, that's why. So it has to be J. All right, so we need to change it to J. Okay. Well, that's why you test it out. Okay, now it's going to be better. People are probably wondering what the hell is going on right now, but I'm trying to just give you the template. If something breaks, let me know and I can try to help you troubleshoot it, but it should kind of just be plug and play for the most part. All right, so let's check it out. So deposits, let's just do a deposit here for $100 and see if it works. Okay, there you go. So that would work. Okay. And same with your withdrawals, then it's just going to be K instead. Okay, so it's K. All right, and then once this is done, you should have a pretty good set of templates that you can use. You can, again, customize it, copy it, give it away, whatever you want to do with it. And I'll put links in the show notes to all these spreadsheets. You can make a copy. But yeah, and then we'll just make sure these are all zeroed out. Yeah, we'll just make sure they're zeroed out so that way. Okay, so you should be good here now. Fresh start. Everything's zeroed out. And yeah, you just go in and pick which casino you want to use. Delete the ones you don't want. I'll leave these names in here if you want. You can add on whichever ones you want to. And oh, another thing I guess would be here. Let's say you add another casino here. There's no. Let's say you add Global Poker. Well, there's no. You have to make sure you come here. You highlight that cell and you left click and you drag it down. You have to make sure that this matches up. Like right now, it's set up for 108 lines. But if you're adding, let's say, casino 1, 2, like see how there's no 0 there? You want to make sure. You could even do this if you really want to. Just drag all the way down for each one. But yeah, that could cause problems if you don't drag down. So just make sure you do that as well. But that should be a pretty good jumping off point for you guys. Some good tools, I think. Some useful tools for you. At some point, I'm going to do a video where I do all the logins and track how much you make. So you want to stay tuned for that one. I'll show you how much you can make in one day of logging in. And I'll go through and we'll do like kind of a speed run and see how long it takes and see how much we can make. But for right now, I guess that's it. Again, check out my site, beacons.ai/freesweepscoins. Updated as we get new sweeps casinos on the market. And yeah, there will be a link in the video description for these spreadsheets. Let me know in the comments or email me if you have any questions. freesweepscoins@gmail.com if you have any questions or concerns or if there's any bugs or whatever. But that'll be it for now. Take care.